Welcome back to Viewer's Voice. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about how your comfort is your cage. Now, this can be seen in a bunch of different ways, simply being in the predicaments and places and zones that you feel most comfortable in. You're really trapping yourself off and caging yourself in from what you should really be going after. And in a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different ways, this is all true. This all ties into the same thing as your comfort zone, the things you enjoy, are really caging you in, which can be seen as protecting you from things that you shouldn't be doing, as well as blocking you from things that you really should be getting involved in that could benefit you in the future. So obviously, you don't want to just seek comfort in anything and everything. Clearly, there's things that I enjoy doing, things that you enjoy doing, and by doing those things and refraining from enjoying and messing and tampering with other things, you actually are doing far better than other people. Some people like to be outgoing. Some people like to go after anything they can possibly get their hands on. And sometimes the things that they get their hands on are really not worth it. They're not good for them, and they don't help them out. However, there are certain things that you will never be able to reach, you'll never be able to comprehend, and you'll never be able to fathom and get a grip on, simply because you are so used to staying in places you feel most comfortable in. Sometimes the best things for us are the situations and events and things that really make us most uncomfortable. When we get into an argument with a loved one or anyone for that matter, it feels uncomfortable in the heat of the moment. However, it really shows us the thing that we need to learn. Maybe we need to learn that this person is terrible in arguments, this person is not for me, or however, let's say we are arguing over this very crazy topic and we need to find a way to get through it. The argument might be the best way to quickly just get to the answer. Simply, it's going to feel the most uncomfortable. However, it may get us the results that we need. Sometimes arguments can be necessary, as uncomfortable as they can be. Sometimes they can really push you towards what the answer you so seek, because sometimes they're the only way to go about it. You may never find these things by trying to avoid certain situations, by sticking things you're more comfortable in. Maybe you really don't like conflict, you don't like confrontation, you're comfortable outside of it. However, confrontation can sometimes lead, like I said, to the answers that you so seek. So if you're so comfortable avoiding it, you will never get those answers. However, if you choose to indulge in how uncomfortable the situation may feel and just embrace it, you actually end up improving where you are currently by doing those things that you don't feel comfortable in. Therefore, you're caging yourself off when you don't do that. You're caging yourself off from things that can help you. Granted, an argument is not fun at the end of the day. That can suck. That could drastically ruin your mood. It may show you something that you really did not want to see, however. And just because you chose to leave your comfort zone, you got hurt by it. However, the flip side, that could be completely different. Maybe there's something out there that I want to really go after, but I'm not used to doing it. I'm not comfortable in that because I don't know how it may have me feel. However, I may go out there and take that one tiny step to seeing how it may sway me and how I may actually enjoy being in the situation. And it can be far different than any expectation I may have set prior to it. Simply because I'm using my own thought and thinking, this is going to be so uncomfortable, I do not want to get in this whatsoever. However, by me taking the step to leave my zone and see what's out there and exit my cage and see the things that can actually benefit me, I may actually understand that there's far more out there than the few things I so limit myself to. You're only so comfortable in so many things. Maybe the people you're around, the activities you do, the music you listen to, you only feel comfortable in so much. And there's a bunch of things out there I will never feel comfortable in, granted. But there are also some things where I may think I won't be comfortable in that kind of environment. However, once I give it a try and notice that it has a lot of pros and a lot of benefits and a lot of positives in it, it will soon develop into my comfort zone. We don't just wake up one day and then we immediately felt comfortable doing this. Typically, we got to that point. We put this thing in our zone by going out and seeing if we enjoyed it. If I'm comfortable playing fighting games and I stick to fighting games for however long I choose, yeah, granted, the next fighting game that comes out, I'm already used to playing fighting games. I'm probably comfortable to that. However, maybe I was not always a fan of fighting games. Maybe I was a fan of like more trivial stuff, more, board games, family-friendly games, whatever. But I chose one day to decide to play one game and see how it had me feel, and I really enjoyed it. Therefore, it soon developed into my zone. That's how you extend. If you want to stay in your cage, that's how you can at least extend it. Go for things one at a time. You don't always have to remain outside of your comfort zone to embrace everything at once. That's where it can feel very heavy and very uncomfortable all at once. However, if you decide to do it one time here, do something else here, and soon enough you'll start to adapt to a bunch more things. You'll understand just how much potential and how much growth you could really be seeing within yourself. But when you decide that you don't want to go after something, you don't want to try to achieve something, you won't grow. You are caging yourself off, you are caging your potential off, and you are caging yourself from, yes, like I said, the negatives that you can face, but you're also drastically blocking yourself off of any of the positive benefits you could come across. Let's say you do have something you're comfortable in that you know can get you somewhere far, but like you haven't really decided to take like the full length of going after it, because there's that one stone in the way that you don't feel comfortable enough to pass, because it's not in your realm of the thing that you enjoy. You simply won't pass it if you don't decide to. If I'm a fan of sports and I really love the sport I'm playing, but I hate playing with other people, but I know the only way to excel in the thing that I so enjoy is by taking that step to be more social and engage with others. I'm gonna need to take that step sooner or later. I can't just remain uncomfortable with that decision and in that space that I just choose to let myself stay where I'm at, if not regress, simply because I don't feel comfortable enough to allow myself access to more growth and more potential. So if something like this, where it's like I enjoy to help other people, I enjoy to speak to people, see what other people have to say, dig in other people's brains. However, I refuse to allow myself to be seen on the internet, or I refuse to allow many people access to me. How else am I going to be able to grow and see all the things that I'm capable of doing if I don't allow myself the actual full, like, upfront vision to see that? Another thing is, people often use time or people as a reason to not go after something. People use other people's perception of them to lack the drive to achieve something, as well as time, assuming that they're too ahead of it or too behind to actually go after something. And not only that, but people often worry about too much of what someone else will say about them. People feel the most uncomfortable when they have too many eyes on them, which is understandable. However, you gotta understand, people are always gonna see you, and people are always gonna see so many things around you, to where you may not always be the focal point. If I'm walking on a sidewalk and I happen to be passing up a museum or anything that could catch someone's eye, all the cars that are driving past me may not be focused on me at the end of the day. There are so many other things that people could be watching at that given moment, to where I may not always be the center of attention. But if I'm so like focused on myself and just subconscious of everything I'm doing, thinking about all the cars and all the people that are looking at me and all the cars passing by me, I may start to walk different. I may start to just, psych myself out a little bit and just think, I probably look so stupid right now, so on and so forth. But that's really not the case. Some people really are not paying attention to you as much as you think. But you yourself, you notice all your insecurities, you notice all the things that you worry about, and that's what's constantly being put front and center in your head. Is that if I could see it, if I see that it's there, other people are going to see the same thing. Therefore, how am I going to feel comfortable enough to embrace who I am if people are always going to notice what's wrong about me? The problem is that's not what you should be thinking. You yourself need to embrace what's positive about you and what you can do and what you can go after. And once you do that, a good amount of people will see that within yourself and think, I can embrace that within them as well. If I see somebody and all they do is hate on themselves, granted, I'm not just going to immediately want to hate on them either. That's not right. However, if they don't have enough faith in themselves, why should I? Why should I look at this person and be like, oh yeah, they could do this, that, and third, if they don't even look at themselves and think that? Same with me. If I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, I can't do that, why would I expect the next person to look at me and think that I can? But at the end of the day, just because you can't, or just because you believe you can't do something, or you're not used to doing something, does not mean that you can't do it. If you find yourself in a predicament where you know something couldn't be very positive for you, have you went for it, and if you just stay to it, simply go for it. Don't think just because you're not used to doing something or because something is out of your reach that it can never lead to anything. There's so many things that I've done that I thought I could possibly never do, or just believe that myself would not even enjoy it in the slightest. But come time to actually do it, it's been the complete opposite. Don't always expect your expectations to be the truth. Don't always try to live up for them, or don't always try to set a standard thinking that it's gonna be guaranteed just because you look at it that way. If you set a positive one, granted it can be better, and that's what you should always be doing. You should always be looking at things in a positive manner and expect the best out of them. However, just because you see something and you think it can't be done, or you expect yourself to fail, doesn't mean that's gonna happen. Doesn't matter how uncomfortable you feel. Doesn't matter how much anxiety it gives you. Whatever. If you feel that you can actually make something out of something, you will get it done with enough time. Like I said, don't psych yourself out. Don't let other people psych you out. Don't stay limited to the only thing that you're comfortable doing. If you know that you can go after something and you can make it work, do it. Who cares? Who cares what you think deep down if all your thoughts are just negative? Who cares what someone else thinks if all their thoughts are negative? At the end of the day, knowing that you can actually exceed your own and someone else's expectations and also be able to walk freely out of your comfort zone to achieve something, that shows just how much growth you're capable of doing and how much potential and strength you actually possess. But that's going to be all for this video. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.